Hey everybody, welcome back to Operation Valkyrie. This is Phase 2, Video 1. My name's Tom, and I'm going to be talking through crafting the sound for Operation Valkyrie. I had a very distinct sound for the demo because I ran all of that through this thing. This is a Boss ME30 multiple effects. So the bass and the both guitars were ran through this thing. I believe with the same settings. So it's got a very distinct sound to the demo, and I loved it at the time. And even now when I listen to it, I'm like, it's not so bad. But I've learned some things about sound, and I've learned some things about the layering of guitars. And this video is going to be primarily about guitars. Just like the rest of the videos, there's a heavy emphasis on the guitar riffs because that's how I wrote it. And I figured I wanted to be at least where I was when I wrote it for when I started re-recording, and the bass and the drums and everything. I've been working on that. I've been working on that in Guitar Pro, and we're gonna see how it goes. So this video is going to be a little bit talky, and then there's going to be a big section in the middle about, well, not about anything. It's just going to have sound. So what I have here is it's my Pod XT. It's already hooked up and everything. I also have some settings on here. I have a couple of different amp sims. I have amplitude and the other one. Just a minute. The Sans amp. I have amplitude and the Sans amp on here, and that's a pretty wide range of sounds on there too. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to loop a section of drums. I've selected the song Conspirators because I feel that it best overall represents the sound of the album, and it's the most fun for me to play. So what I'm going to do is record the two guitars, the three guitars, dry into here, and then loop through Pro Tools through my Line 6 pod for the settings on there, and also use the dry signal for the plugins that I have. What I have is I have a couple of different things I want to try together, because while I had a homogeneous sound for the demo, I've been thinking about some things that I've read and some things that I've seen online, and some things that I've heard. Now, I'm going to use Slayer as an example because a lot of people like Slayer, and I like them too. During the, I want to call the golden age of Slayer, is when the whole band was in there recording. Right now, the last few Slayer albums, it's all been Kerry King in the studio laying out all the rhythm tracks, and it's got a certain sound to it because he used an amp with the settings that he uses, and he used it for both rhythm tracks, and he tracked them port and starboard, left and right, and it sounds a certain way. But if you go back to earlier Slayer, if you go back to South of Heaven, to Seasons in the Abyss, to Divine Intervention, those guitars had different sounds to them. It's mostly noticeable on Decade of Aggression. You hear the live sound. One of those guitars is very muddy and the other one is very sharp, and I noted that. And when I went back to listen to the studio albums in that time, it was the same way then. One of them was kind of muddy and the other one's kind of sharp, and it's very noticeable when they're playing two different things, especially at two different times. But then when they play together, it's got a very full sound. I'm going to keep using my hands. I'm sorry. So what I've decided is I have a lot of high gain settings on the Pod XT, I have, I'm not very good at preparing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 high gain settings to go through. Those will be for the lower sound. So for the chugging, the things that are holding it down. That's going to be the Ibanez Art Core. It's a hollow body electric guitar. And then I have some other more boutique sounds. Some older sounding, some scratchier, and those will be for the Les Paul. I'll be recording with an Ibanez Art Core and a Gibson Les Paul Studio for the guitars. And what I'm going to do is whenever there's bits with the chords and chugging, that will be the Ibanez, and then whatever's up on top of that in your left and right ears will be 2 separate tracks for the Les Paul. So as I said, the demo was all one sound, so why not one sound for the Les Paul, just pan left and right. And if I'm going to record it twice, I might as well use different voices. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what this video is. This talking bit's almost over. I'm sorry. This is going to be a long video, and because there's going to be several different settings to go through. But you're not going to have to look at me while all that happens. If you want to hear it, you can hear it. And I'll be reading the comments for feedback if anybody has any. And as I'm going to be recording the entire album dry and then patching, I can go back and change anything, anytime, as long as it's not an original performance issue. Reamping is going to be a snap, and one of the things that I recommend now to my friends who are recording, if they're recording at home or recording in a studio, I recommend that if you just want to use your amp, go ahead and use your amp, but see if the studio has a DI box so you can split your signal and record a dry one for them. That way, if you feel later, if you need to reamp, you don't have to retrack everything. You just use your dry signal. It's smart, and I'm finally coming around to the smarter way of doing things. One of the other things I'm going to recommend, and this is probably going to sound dumb, but before every take, tune your guitar. A friend of mine, Dave, with whom I used to record all the time, was he was going back through the Operation Valkyrie things, and he was playing stuff, and he was playing along, and he said, you were not in the you were in the tuning doesn't matter phase. And he's right. He's right. For a bunch of that, tuning was just a mess, and I didn't mess with it too much. So now I know better. New thing's going to be tuned. All right. Now I'm going to get started on this business, and I will see you in a minute or 5. Oh wow, that's a lot to choose from. I'm going to go through all this and I'm going to listen to everything. I'm going to listen to it on my headphones. I have some really good headphones here. They're small and they're goofy looking, but these Koss Porta Pros are the best headphones I own. Really are. I also have a set of sound canceling headphones that I'm going to be using. I'm also going to put this on my iPod or other MP3 player and go listen to it in the car. And I'm gonna, I'm gonna go everywhere with it and listen to it and really get to live with these sounds and see what's best for the project. All right, I had some things that I thought I was gonna do, and the first song that you heard, if you've been here since the beginning, was the pre-Nazi Germany national anthem. I'm still not gonna try and pronounce it. I'm not. And I had recorded that with a certain set of sounds, and I had that in my head that that's what I was going to use. But like I said, you record everything dry, you can change things in an instant. You can change them at the drop of a hat. It doesn't take a lot of work. Since I don't mic and amp, it doesn't take a lot of noise either. I can do it quietly, quickly, efficiently. I can do it well. So that's this video, and if you're here, thank you very much. If you're, the next video is going to have drums, synth. I'm going to I'm going to audition some sounds. I'm using a very dry drum sound for the test, and to see how the guitars go together. I already have the sound picked out for the bass. I told you that. I'm going to use this thing for the bass because it sounds good, and that's the only thing that's set in stone right now, is that sound, and unfortunately this sound, unless I find a singer along the way. I'm not counting that out. If I find someone who will sing this for me and do a good job, I would gladly have a different singer than the one I was using before, because sometimes he's pitchy and his voice isn't very good sometimes. That guy. Don't tell him I said that, though. Anyway, this is the last part of this video for Phase 2 of Operation Valkyrie. I will see you later. Thanks for watching.